What's going on? It's your man, Skinny Go Live, registered veterinary technologist and social media content creator, and welcome to Black History Chat with Black veterinary professionals, hosted by my team over at United Veterinary Care, where we believe in improving the lives of all people and pets. And I'm so excited today, just as we've always had through this week. We got another phenomenal guest that I'm so excited who can join us today. This young man is all the way out of Burlington, Connecticut, and a graduate of Tuskegee University, where he received his DVM. He's also a DACVS boarded veterinary surgeon. Will you guys help me welcome my man, Courtney Campbell, to the show? Courtney, what is going on, buddy?
Oh, Walter, man, this is something I've been looking forward to all week long. It's great to join you, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Man, that is awesome, man. We have, prior to actually starting our chat today, me and Courtney were just conversating a little bit ago before we started this, and, having to catch up on so many things and doing so many awesome things in the community. It's just awesome to, be around you. We had a great time at VMX during the blend event, so it's just been great. And, before we get into like the blend event, I told people, you're a board certified surgeon. People asking me all the time, like, what is that? How does that differ from a regular DVM? So can you kind of tell us, like, how did you become a surgeon in small animal medicine, and what inspired you to become that surgeon?
Well, listen, number one, I completely agree with you, man. I don't even know if we'll stay within the time limits here, because you and I, we could go for hours, but no, it's so good to talk to you, and thank you so much for that question, because the reality is, I'll be honest with you, when I was in vet school, I thought I wanted to be a radiologist.
Wow.
And there was a long period of time where I was focused on radiology. I'd pursued radiology. I'd done research in radiology. And the main reason for that was because I met an outstanding mentor who was a fantastic guy. He happens to be running for AVMA president right now. And I looked at him and his knowledge base and the extent of his knowledge, and I said, I want to do that. But the key here's the key, Walter. I didn't love radiology. I like it, but I didn't have a love affair with it. And so I decided when I woke up one day, I said, okay, you really like radiology, you enjoy it, but you don't have a love affair with radiology, so you've got to pursue what you truly love, and that happened to be surgery. At that point, after graduating veterinary school, I did a 1-year rotating internship. At that point, even after the rotating internship, I had applied for a radiology residency. Thank goodness I didn't get it. And then, that is true, right? Any sort of, if anybody out there who's experiencing a level of disappointment, just keep in mind, this disappointment that you're experiencing perhaps can be one of the greatest blessings that you will experience in the future.
Absolutely.
And for me, it was. After that, I went on and did my first surgical internship or specialty surgical internship. And then I did a second specialty surgical internship. And then I did a 3 years residency. So it was, vet school, 3 years of internships, 1 year of general practice sprinkled in there, and then a 3-year residency before the battles with the surgical board exam, which of course you've got to do your research, right? There's a research requirement to become boarded in surgery. And then of course, you got to pass this crazy test that lasts for 3 days. So my point is, it's a journey, but what I tried to do every step of the journey, and this is hard, but I tried to enjoy every step, because I knew, time is finite, and you just got to enjoy the path.
That is awesome. And you nailed it. It's two things about that. And you took the words right out of my mouth when I tell people, you got to enjoy. It's called a process, right? I tell people all the time, you got to enjoy the process, right? We look so forward to, I had this student I remember who was running track, and, she was the one who opened my eyes. She was like, Walter, a trophy is just a trophy. She's like, I love winning sometimes, but the trophy is just a paperweight. I love to sometimes become second or third, so I can figure out what I got to do to get in first place, right? Because I enjoy the process of training, the process of getting to that point. And I think that's what we all have to do sometimes with struggle, is to learn to love the process and understand that failure is also part of the process. And if you fail, you got to get back in the batting cage and start swinging again. So, that's definitely one of the things that I definitely like to give out to those that are the expiring young generation. And speaking of the inspiring young generation, I think this is, you and I have worked with the Blend event, which is a great EDI event as we host kids, kind of exposing them to veterinary medicine. Is this the second or third one we've done together? Second?
This is the second one for me.
Oh, awesome. Gotcha.
Well, I'm sorry. So this is the second one we've done together, the third one for me.
Gotcha. So as far as working with those kids, I think you had the special station where you were working with the kids in a surgery lab. Tell us about that experience and how does that feel being a part of that process, working with that younger generation of kids?
It's incredible, man. In a word, it's absolutely incredible, and it is fulfilling. It's fulfilling because it fills your cup. It's personal to me because as I was, experiencing the richness and the energy and the passion from these kids, it made me realize that I had never experienced anything like that at their age, right? And so I didn't have a veterinarian come to school. I didn't go to any programs that touted the benefits of veterinary medicine. I was essentially in the dark, and what I call, I was hopeful that this profession would be something that I enjoy. And hope to me is this reorientation of your spirit, where you're looking around, you don't see vets that look like you don't see opportunities for you, but you just have to sort of have faith that the future will be better. And what I would like to do with these kids is, as they have hope, what I'd like to do is give them substance behind that hope, so they don't just simply have to go on blind faith. And at that surgery station at VMX, which was incredible, because we had 3 distinct stations. One, we taught them how to enter surgery aseptically, sort of gown and gloving. 2, we taught them how to suture wounds. And then 3, we actually had them putting implants on bones, plates and screws, on how to fix broken bones. So they, now that isn't all of veterinary surgery, but the idea is they got a comprehensive experience of gowning and gloving and suturing and placing implants. And they just got a taste of what it would be like is if you said, I really want to find a way to help animals. How do I do that through surgery? And I feel like they got a good experience.
I agree. It was, and the attentiveness of the kids and how much they enjoyed it was like, it just made me warm all inside. I think and again, it's about the experience. And one thing that, again, like you and I were talking about, how hard it is to say no to some things because you don't want to miss out on that opportunity to actually help someone and pay something forward or getting a return on the investment of having somebody else move forward in life. And one of the parents that were at the event and that we did in Tampa, her son didn't come to that event, and she saw me she drove all the way down from Tampa, or she came from Tampa to Orlando and brought her son this time around. She was like, Walter, your story about, how you became a vet tech and the things that interest you. Like, I feel like my son needed to hear that. And she was like, I made him come this time around, and his name is Gavin, and that's my son's name as well. So it was just one of them deals where I was like, I felt like this was supposed to happen, right? This was supposed to happen. Right. And you just never can miss out on an opportunity to showing the younger generation, what we do in vet med. And I tell people all the time, like, we got a shortage of veterinary technicians. We got a shortage of veterinarians. We got a shortage of all veterinary professionals. So planting that seed early is probably one of the best things that we can do. And I think with that Blend event, that is something that we are doing. And I appreciate you, Dr. Campbell, joining me for that event. But the one...
Yeah, absolutely. Because you talk about that kid Gavin, not to interrupt you, but that kid Gavin, and not to sound cliche about it, but if you and I can, and the entire crew at Blend, if we can affect one life, right? If we can affect one life or inspire one child to pursue, this beautiful profession we call veterinary medicine, then I feel like we've done our job. Now let me be clear: there were over 70 kids there, right? So hopefully we've inspired more than one. But if the future came, right, I'm sort of projecting now in the future, and someone hypothetically came up to me and said, hey, it was that Blend event, as to why I'm pursuing veterinary medicine or even better veterinary surgery, right? Then I could say, wow, it's certainly worth it. So I
yes.
love that story about Gavin just because it brings it full circle.
Oh man, and it's great. And like you said, like that's the thing that I like to hear more in life now is like you changed my life or you helped me. And you know, I've been fortunate enough to be in those situations. And even at VMX, you know, I had people come up, they're like, Walter, I just want to thank you for saving me. You helped me get back in tech school. I actually passed my tech. You know, those are the things that I love. And I think those are the things that we all should look forward to because again, that's the return that you want to give. You know, I tell people all the time, the greatest gift in the world is a friend. And, you know, if we can be a friend to someone and help them move forward, like we've done our part as far as veterinary professionals. But you did mention one thing, and which kind of stems the question for you today. You know, we were talking about, you know, representation in veterinary medicine as far as being Black professional. And, you know, I feel like we are underrepresented, but I feel like the needle is moving forward. At VMX, I felt like there was more diversity than I had seen in the previous years. So I think that was a great thing. But my question of you is, you know, as far as representation with the Black professionals in veterinary medicine, how do you feel it has evolved over the years, and what changes would you like to see in the future when it comes to Black professionals in veterinary medicine?
That's a fantastic question. It was focusing on the past, present, and future. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like sometimes I feel like people don't understand how powerful representation can be. Now, we talked initially about the fact that if we affect one child or if we inspire one young person to pursue a career in veterinary medicine, but it's also important to remember that a lot of times that inspiration can not only come from having an outstanding experience, it's because that person sees themselves in you. And so representation can be extremely powerful. And if we talk about the past, in my past, I did not see any veterinary professionals that looked like me. Mm-hmm. And therefore, that hope, as I was talking about, that reorientation of your spirit to say, I'm going to pour my love into a profession that I'm not sure is going to love me back.
Wow.
I'm not sure that this profession wants me. And having to pursue that anyway. And in fact, I remember stumbling across a Tuskegee University pamphlet. Mm-hmm. And I remember pausing, holding the pamphlet, flipping through the pages, because that was the first time I'd ever seen images at all depicting people that looked like me in a profession or caring for animals. And so I said, all right, this is what I certainly would like to do. And I do believe that with that experience and with that history, my identity or my pursuit towards the veterinary profession is forever coupled with my identity, meaning I can't necessarily ever uncouple them and say, all right, I'd just like to pursue this particular profession or this particular discipline in veterinary medicine, and then not also realize that I come from an underrepresented group. And so that when people see me, they will not only see, in this case, a veterinary surgeon, but they'll also see the fact that I'm an African-American male, right? And that we are drastically underrepresented in vet med. So yeah, for me, the past was sort of filled with a lack of representation. The present is a representation that I want to embody. And the future I see is a veterinary profession that is more pluralistic, is more diverse. And the idea is you say, well, there's diversity initiatives, there's diversity programs, but the inclusion is really the mindset that we're looking for. It's the idea that, yes, we are pushing to make the profession look more like America and look more like pet owners, but the idea of being inclusive, in being cultural understanding, and embracing the richness and the rich tapestry that makes us so diverse, that's part of it. It's the celebration of our differences rather than just tolerating them.
Man, you nailed it. I literally have chills right now because I have interviewed four interviews so far with our Black History Chat, and everyone is basically following up the pathway to the next question and actually shining light on what was said beforehand. And it's just so powerful, man. And you nailed it. And I don't think sometimes, like you said, we don't do a good job of putting that representation. Cause I can remember, I tell this funny story all the time. I tell Harold all the time. I can remember, I said, you know what? I've been working in emergency and critical care for about 5 years. I might as well try to get my VTS, and people always should say, man, don't get your VTS. Like, they ain't gonna pay you no more money or X, Y, and Z. And for me, it wasn't about more money. I wanted to prove to myself that, I felt like I was great at emergency and critical care, but this test would actually tell me, yeah, you're good, right. And there are some great people out there in emergency and critical care that are not VTSs. But that was my way of telling me that I was worthy of the cause, right? But what made me actually do it was I can remember they said the godfather of VTS is Harold Davis. In my mind, and it's funny because I thought to myself, I don't know who this Harold Davis is, this guy is, but man, must be awesome to be like considered, like the forefather. And then it hit me. I can remember I'm like, Harold Davis, not being that person, but I don't know too many people that aren't black named Harold. I'm like, what's the chances that he could be black, right? And I was talking to a resident by the name of Christine Wong. She was like, yeah, Harold's black. You didn't know that? I'm like, you kidding me? And it was just that moment. Yeah. It really was that moment. I was like, oh, shoot, I got this. Yes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's funny that happens, but that's what we need sometimes.
Yeah, and Harold is an outstanding person, super understated, humble guy.
Yes.
And you're right. It is to the point you're making. People don't understand, or I think that we don't talk enough about the power of representation and how it can be incredibly empowering, right? Sometimes you may hear people say, all right, we'd like to have more representation, and they're looking at it from a numbers standpoint, or maybe they're looking at it from an optics standpoint, or maybe something more sublime that they would just like to foster a more inclusive environment. That's all great, but there's so many other benefits to increasing representation, including empowering young people, or empowering not just young people, maybe people who are like me, like middle-aged, to achieve more, right?
Right.
So that's just one of the dozens of aspects, the dozens of benefits of representation is for example, the example you brought up, which is empowering others to achieve more.
Right. And again, it's great to be in this space, not only with you, but so many other people who are Black veterinary professionals that are moving forward. And I think the thing is, like you said, there are even more out there. And I think we as a culture, we have to do a better job as well of putting ourselves out there and saying, hey, we are here to help. We are here to help bring people in to help represent. We're here to help you with that understanding and that communication. So I definitely appreciate everything you've done for the industry. I appreciate you being a great surgeon. I appreciate you working with the Blend event. Like, just being an outstanding human, Courtney. You definitely get that badge of honor there. So I definitely want to appreciate.
Thanks, man. It means so much coming from you, man.
Oh my gosh,
so much,
man! You are awesome, man. And I just want to, again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're a busy guy for chatting with me today, man. But I'm sure people who are listening will probably be like, I got to find this Courtney guy and see exactly, because he is absolutely an amazing person. So if they need to find you on social media or whatnot, where can they find you at?
Please check me out at Dr. Courtney DVM. That's at Dr. Courtney, just like the girl's name, Courtney DVM, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, at all platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram. Awesome. I also have a website too, right? www.drcourtneydvm.com. But you'll probably find me if you want to continue the conversation on all social platforms.
Man, that is awesome, man. We want to, again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. We appreciate everybody who tuned in to Black History Chat with Black Veterinary Professionals. We appreciate you all, and we will see you all on the next go round. Out of here.